What's up, guys? Swift here. Ryan Poles has been making his rounds through the media the last week or so, and today he had an interview that dropped on NFL Plus where he goes out of his way to let everyone know how much he believes in Justin Fields. Also, Ryan Poles has now signed 7 of our 10 draft picks from this year, with Darnell Wright, Zach Pickens, and Tyler Scott inking deals today. The only 3 players left unsigned are Jervon Dexter, Tyreek Stevenson, and Roschon Johnson. More good work by our general manager, Ryan Poles, who went on to say, "I do believe in Justin Fields. I do believe he can take the next step to get this organization to a championship caliber team." Preach, Poles. He went on to confirm that his belief in Fields is why they traded down from the number 1 overall pick and also added DJ Moore and Darnell Wright to help Fields take that next step. Listening to Ryan Poles speak is so refreshing and so different than anything we've heard from previous general managers. Not just his words, though, his actions. I believe in Ryan Poles. This channel has grown a lot in the last year. Most of you know how much I believe in Justin Fields. He's my personal favorite Bear of all time. I've never been happier about a draft pick. It was the motivation behind me making this channel. I've been criticizing moves made by Bears general managers my entire life. It's easy and lazy to just use the same narratives on Ryan Poles when he's been doing everything completely different since day one when he was hired. As a Bears fan, I get it. It's easy to be negative and say things like, "Until I see it on the field, I'm not believing it." Or even thinking that I'm a homer for being positive after we were the worst team in the NFL last year. I get it. However, my stance has never changed or wavered because of my faith in Justin Fields becoming a superstar in this league, and that faith has only been compounded by the incredible job I believe Ryan Poles has done in the last 16 months. He is turning this franchise around, and he's doing it the right way. Trust the process. Ryan Poles has a philosophy that he believes in, and I believe in it as well. He's building this thing from the ground up, brick by brick. Him coming out and confirming his belief in Justin Fields does not surprise me. If you're a longtime sub, you remember me saying there's zero chance we take a QB this year when everyone in the national media was saying the Bears might take Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. Poles would then go on to talk about his belief in Chase Claypool and this offense as well. He let out a bit of information saying Fields has been training with DJ Moore and Chase Claypool a lot recently. He said he's building his chemistry with both players while Darnell Mooney focuses on getting back to 100%. I've been very critical of our past GMs. I've hated a ton of Bears draft picks, a majority of them actually over the last 20 years, but it's a new era in Chicago football. I saw it come the day Ryan Poles was hired and began work on creating this channel afterwards. My belief was in Justin Fields. However, I had no faith in Ryan Pace or Matt Nagy. But once they were fired, I just had this feeling that things are changing finally. I listened to Ryan Poles' opening press conference so many times. I researched him and read everything I could about him. I felt like our roster had Justin Fields, Tevin Jenkins, and a couple of pieces, but it was in need of a teardown. Most fans believed we needed to spend big last year. And I agree that in an ideal world, you want to bring in more talent around Justin Fields in year 2. But this wasn't an ideal situation. The Bears ownership decided to give Nagy and Pace another year and basically wasted Justin's rookie year. That's not Ryan Poles' fault. Poles then inherited a roster that was simply not very good, and the players that did have talent, like Khalil Mack and Roquan Smith, didn't fit into Poles' long-term plan. It took some serious stones for Ryan Poles to get rid of so many fan-favorite players. In the last 16 months, Ryan Poles has gotten rid of Khalil Mack, Roquan Smith, David Montgomery, Akeem Hicks, Eddie Goldman, Robert Quinn, Allen Robinson, James Daniels, and more. He doesn't care about making casual fans happy. He cares about fixing this franchise. He cares about long-term success, and he is obsessed with bringing a Super Bowl to Chicago. I don't expect every fan out there to agree with me. I don't expect everyone to see Ryan Poles' vision like I do. But I do want to point out that even though I'm a glass half full guy, and I've been burned a lot as a Bears fan, I still truly believe in not only our franchise quarterback, but the decision makers in charge as well. Ryan Poles isn't alone. I give him a lot of credit, but I also have a ton of faith in Matt Eberflus. I'm continuously impressed with his work ethic and football knowledge. He blew me away when I found out he did scouting reports for the draft and free agency. And then Ian Cunningham is behind the scenes big part of this rebuild. Plus, Luke Getsy is my favorite offensive coordinator we've had in a long time. I just believe the pieces are in place, and for the first time in my life, the Chicago Bears are doing things the right way. I absolutely love this draft class. I've finished 2 of my all-22s already. Both players are home runs as far as potential to be great NFL players. Would I have done things exactly the same way? No way, but that's my point. Ryan Poles has done a better job than I can ever imagine that even I would have done. Any fan who's telling you otherwise is foolish. Not only has he brought in a ton of talent around Justin Fields, and rebuilt the defense as well, but he has not sacrificed our future to do so. He's actually given us even more flexibility going forward with all of our draft picks plus 3 extra picks over the next 2 years and a ton of cap space going forward. All of this while taking the 7th oldest roster in the entire NFL and turned it into one of the 5 youngest rosters in the entire league. He did all of this while bringing in players with length, athleticism, and good character that fit this culture and will help turn this team around. I truly believe that. I'm trying to temper my expectations for the 2023 season, but after what I believe has been the best offseason in recent history for the Bears, easily, paired with Aaron Rodgers leaving town, the Vikings getting rid of a lot of talent, and the Lions being, well, the Lions, I cannot rule out this Bears team competing for a division title this season. Not with Justin Fields. I just cannot. I have so much faith in that guy. If you're a new subscriber to my channel and you've never watched my full Justin Fields breakdown, it is the #1 must-watch video on this channel. Check it out. I have 1000% confidence that Justin Fields will be a superstar in this league. In the last year, Ryan Poles has continuously amazed me by how far ahead of the curve he is when it comes to building a roster. I now have full belief in Ryan Poles as well. I said it multiple times this offseason that I believed that Ryan Poles would have a really good draft and put this team in a great position heading into 2023. I talked about our cap space, having the #1 pick in the draft, and Poles and Ian Cunningham getting to work together. But I said repeatedly, until the draft though, it was just impossible to judge Poles very much. And that's still true to some extent. You really can't fully get a picture of how well a draft class is for 3 to 4 years. But some of that is also out of the GM's control. What you can tell is what kind of players and athletes were brought in and at what positions. After free agency and the draft, the depth chart starts to take shape, and I am in love with what this roster looks like. Young, athletic, talented players all over the roster. Do we still need a defensive end? Of course. But we also have 2 first-round picks next year. This is not a one-year job. Let me make one final point about the defensive line. This point was magnified greatly last year against the Buffalo Bills, a team that doesn't run the ball very often. They tried to beat us how they beat every other team, passing the ball, but they had a bunch of struggles and could not pull away. How they pulled away and won that game? By running the ball down our throat. That's an important piece of our defensive ends not getting any sacks. You have to be able to stop the run in order to get into favorable downs and distances to then get after the quarterback. When teams can just run all over you and then mix in play action and deep shots, pass rushers never really have a chance to get going. Our run defense is going to be way better. Look at the massive upgrades on the line with Gervon Dexter, Zach Pickens, Andrew Billings, and more. And then with better linebackers and coverage units and being better at stopping the run, it will allow our current pass rushers on the roster more opportunities to make plays. Guys like Dominique Robinson, Trevis Gibson, DeMarcus Walker, and Rasheem Green could all end up playing very well this season. But I also still believe Poles is not done yet. I could not be more excited for this season. I'm trying to remain cautiously optimistic because injuries and bad luck have a way of ruining things for Chicago fans, but I'm pumped. I think the Bears are going to surprise a lot of people this year. Stay tuned, guys. I'll be here every step of the way breaking down every move. If you haven't seen my Gervon Dexter or Darnell Wright all 22 videos yet, check those out. Remember to hit the like button for me. And until next time, bear down.
Swifty in the house!